World Elephant Day is a time when everyone is encouraged to post about the protection of elephants on social media. It's a significant day, particularly for the big, majestic elephants who face increasing challenges each year. This year, the San Diego Zoo Wildlife Alliance is paying extra attention to this event because the status of African elephants is worsening, shifting from being labeled as vulnerable to endangered and even critically endangered. Dr. Nadine Lamberski is ready to discuss these issues in detail since she is highly knowledgeable about the challenges these elephants face. This situation is a classic example of human expansion, which is spreading rapidly, consuming natural habitats at an alarming rate, similar to how quickly a child might devour a candy bar. Elephants, which once roamed freely across vast landscapes, now find themselves encountering humans more frequently. This interaction leads to increased tension and creates a complicated dynamic between humans and wildlife, which resembles an awkward dance that neither party enjoys. The team at the San Diego Zoo Wildlife Alliance is working hard to understand the movement patterns of these African elephants. By learning more about where these elephants prefer to roam, they hope to minimize conflicts and reduce the metaphorical stepping on toes that occurs when human and elephant habitats overlap. But why is this effort so crucial? It's not only about preventing elephants from wandering into human areas like unwanted guests at a party. This initiative is about much more than that. It encompasses the entire ecosystem, including forests and savannas. Elephants play a vital role in these environments, akin to nightclub bouncers who control entry and maintain order, ensuring that the ecological balance is preserved. This protective role is essential for the health of the ecosystem, preventing it from spiraling into chaos. So, while saving the elephants sounds noble and heroic, let's not kid ourselves. It's a bit of a scramble to figure out how we can all share this big, spinning disco ball of a planet without stepping on each other's toes too much. And while the good folks at the zoo are doing their part with maps and monitors, maybe it's time for the rest of us to tune into this jumbo-sized issue a bit more. Each critter, each leafy branch, plays its part in this big wild show. This goes for the elephants too. These mammoth gardeners lumber through the forests and savannas, crafting pathways like they're opening new roads on some exclusive wildlife highway. They munch on overgrown brush, making room for fresh grass to sprout up, which then becomes a buffet for other smaller creatures. Plus, these giants have a knack for uncovering hidden water sources, which turns out to be a lifesaver for their thirsty neighbors. When elephants thrive, it's like they're the heart pumping life through the ecosystem's veins. But let's talk about the flip side, because there's always a flip side, right? What's being done to keep these ecosystem engineers from vanishing? And what more should we be doing? Well, the San Diego Zoo Wildlife Alliance isn't playing solo here. They're teamed up with a band of groups in northern Kenya. Places like the Northern Rangelands Trust, Ratiti Elephant Sanctuary, the Nature Conservancy, and Save the Elephants are all in this gig together. Their strategy: it's a bit like running an elephant finishing school. They're working with the Ratiti Elephant Orphanage to not just raise these orphan giants, but also to teach them the ways of the wild so they can one day rejoin their original bands and keep the music playing. They're studying elephant behaviors, figuring out the social cliques, trying to crack what makes a successful elephant rock star who can live out a long and swinging life. And no, this isn't just about African elephants. This is a worldwide tour. Asia's got their elephant issues. The forest elephants are in the mix too. What's messing up their groove? Well, our all too familiar villains: habitat loss, that relentless slice and dice of their living space, and the ever-encroaching shadow of climate change. Yeah, that beast is turning the heat up in the savannas, stretching out droughts and messing with the wet seasons. Honestly, it sometimes feels like we're all watching this disaster movie, where the elephants are the underdogs, and we're the audience that can't decide if we should just watch or actually do something about it. So while it's great that these groups are jamming together to save the day, it might be time for the rest of us to tune in a bit more. Because if we lose the elephants, we lose a master key to keeping our environmental symphony in tune. It's like the weather's gone a bit rogue. One minute you're in what should be a dry season, then suddenly it's pouring rain. Next thing you know, the dry season is dragging on forever. And when the rains finally decide to show up, it's like a floodgate's been opened. Everything's flipped upside down, and it's throwing everyone, people, animals, entire ecosystems, into a spin. This whole mess really hammers home how connected we all are. The climate chaos we're dealing with here in the U.S. Yeah, it's not just a local episode of Weather Gone Wild. It's a global series, and it's messing with elephants halfway across the world, just as much as it's messing with us. It's like a domino effect. Mess with the climate, and it ripples out, touching everything from the gigantic elephants in Africa to Joe Schmo in downtown wherever. When we talk about saving elephants, we're not just helping these large, wrinkled giants of the forest and savanna. We're actually contributing to the well-being of a whole network of life that includes humans as well. It's like one giant, intertwined web of existence, and keeping it in good condition means we're also taking care of our own environment. The idea is simple. By protecting elephants, we preserve a vast array of interconnected species and ecological processes that benefit everyone, not just the elephants. Elephants are key players in their habitats. They help to maintain forest and savanna ecosystems, which are crucial for carbon storage, and thus play a role in controlling the climate. The pathways they create in the wilderness help other animals to move around, and their feeding habits help to regulate vegetation patterns. So, protecting elephants helps maintain the balance of these places. Conservation efforts for African elephants involve a variety of strategies tailored to address the unique challenges faced by both the savanna and forest elephants. These efforts are carried out by a mix of local and international organizations, each bringing their own expertise and resources to the table. They work on multiple fronts: setting up protected areas, enforcing anti-poaching laws, and fostering better relationships between local communities and wildlife. Initiatives such as anti-poaching patrols and legal protections are crucial, but they are just part of the solution. Conservation groups also engage with local communities to reduce human-elephant conflicts, which often arise when elephants encroach on farmland. By implementing better land management practices and investing in community development, these groups help to ensure that locals can benefit from conservation and have a stake in the survival of elephants. Furthermore, international cooperation plays a critical role in elephant conservation. Countries across Africa collaborate through transboundary conservation areas, which allow wildlife to roam freely across national borders. This cooperation extends to law enforcement against poaching and the illegal ivory trade, which remains a significant threat to elephant populations. Through education and public awareness campaigns, more people are becoming aware of the threats to elephants, such as ivory poaching and habitat destruction. These campaigns are crucial because they help to reduce demand for ivory and increase support for conservation efforts. They also highlight the importance of elephants to the environment, which encourages more people to support conservation efforts both locally and globally. Right now, about 415,000 African elephants roam the continent, a big drop from numbers in the past. This figure tells us how much work people have done and the big challenges that still exist in protecting these huge, gentle creatures from dangers like being hunted for their ivory and losing their natural homes due to human activities. African elephants are facing a tough time with ongoing threats, mostly from illegal ivory hunting, and their living spaces being taken over by human developments. There have been some wins in places like Botswana, where the most elephants live in Africa. Yet the overall number of elephants continues to go down because some areas still see a lot of hunting illegally. If you think elephants are as awesome as we do and want to help protect them, you might consider following updates. Smash that like and subscribe for more.